So I am pretty confident that the idea of doing deliveries in the city and parking in the city gives you as much anxiety as it does myself. And the good part about that is that we have YouTubers and gig workers like myself that have done deliveries in the city that can go ahead and do some tip videos based on parking in the city. Because I've actually had a number of you guys that have asked me in the comments on my channel to make a video about parking in the city. So for those that don't know, I do Uber Eats in Montreal, DoorDash in Montreal, and for the most part, I do stick to the more suburban location. But I do have a number of videos where I took off to the city of Montreal to do some deliveries right during lunchtime, which is the one time I told myself I would never do so if I'm trying to do deliveries because I didn't want it to be overwhelming. But it's made for the best learning experience. So who better than to give a video based on these topics than another fellow gig worker that has been through it like many people have. So the first thing I gotta start off is the whole construction part, because if you are going to the city of Montreal, for any gig worker that lives in Canada, first of all, I think Canada, we're great for construction, but in the city of Montreal, it is horrendous when it comes to constructions, potholes, and so on. Now, because our construction is so bad, I do choose to go with Waze versus Google Maps when I'm trying to get into the direction of going to my customer's location. I have had it before that I was going to a customer's location and the GPS did not pick up the fact that there was construction up ahead, so I had an over 9-minute detour. And Google Maps still didn't pick up the fact that it was due to construction. It's because I took an alternative route. So that was the only thing that registered it. But when you go on Waze, it registers people like myself, like yourself, actual individual people that go onto these platforms and update us saying, hey, there's construction ahead. There's a cop camera up ahead, etc. And so because of that, we have more mindfulness when we're in the cities doing deliveries when it comes to these construction locations. Now, when it comes to parking in the city, I'm not going to sugarcoat things. I never do. First of all, when it comes to getting tickets, I have received 2 tickets within my lifetime of being a driver. I have been a standard driver, not a gig driver, just somebody with a license for over 12 years now, and I've received 2 tickets. Within those 2 tickets, I have contested one, and I won that one contested ticket. To the officer that thought himself a smart ass for saying that I did not stop at the stop sign, I told you I was going to contest it. And I find the cops sometimes here in Montreal, honestly, I looked and I saw the officer and I still stopped and they still ding me a ticket. They are very ignorant some days. Don't get me wrong, they're doing great within the city regions to protect the city. They're just, when it comes to parking violations, they're completely off. Now back on track with things. Since I've only had 2 tickets, one was contested and I won it, means I've only had 1 valid ticket. And have I ever had a valid ticket in the city of Montreal while doing deliveries? No. So luckily, I have some tips that might help you benefit when it comes to the parking aspect. First of all, I have been asked, do I have a sticker on the back of my car there that says I'm an Uber driver? No, I don't think you could see anything from this camera, and you can't see anything from this camera. So, no. But the reason why I don't do that is because I'm the one person that would stick out like a sore thumb for a cop to deliver me a ticket if I was to do that. So, because of that, I don't want the transparency of putting myself out there, except probably if a Montreal police officer watches a video like this, they might turn around and say, well, that Nissan Rogue is now due for a ticket. But I never have one of those stickers on my car. What I do use, however, is my hazard lights. So I will use my hazard lights in one circumstance. Within the city of Montreal, when you're going to go park your car, unfortunately, there is just domino cars parked stacked up together. So sometimes there's only curbside parking where you're not exactly supposed to park. So if that's the case scenario, I will put my hazard lights on because I don't want to look like the dumbass that is sitting there directly parked and not indicating that, hey, I know I'm going to be back in just like 3 to 4 minutes. Every time I've done that so far, I have not gotten a ticket. And even in one circumstance, I had a cop look at me to see what I was doing. They saw I put the hazard lights on. I looked at them and I just said 1 minute and they said, okay. And I went in and I did my deed and I came back out. Now, another thing I like to do is what I call the blendedness. So I am a type of person that likes to blend in when it comes to being in the city of Montreal. And I am very fortunate that I know how to parallel park because I've had to utilize it. When drop-off locations are at dorm rooms for universities or colleges, for example, for those that know the city of Montreal, you know the dorms for EVO. Well, that's on a very busy boulevard with cars that are always parked together. But it is also a paid parking service. And I don't believe that any gig worker should be paying for a drop-off delivery for parking, because if the offer's for $6, sometimes that's the cost that it is for just parking. It's a rip-off. So what I will do is I'll try to parallel park in between two of the cars that are on the side there that is paid parking. I will not put my hazard lights on. Do not put your hazard lights in that circumstance. It blindly points out the fact that you are trying to do a quick drop-off, but then I'll run in and I'll drop off the food delivery. I mean, besides that, I don't have any special token when it comes to being a gig worker and parking in the city of Montreal. I think for the most part, we're pretty lucky because it's mostly a lot of construction workers, if anything, compared to police officers. And to be honest, I get a lot more cops down here on the suburban location of Montreal compared to what I've ever seen in the city of Montreal. The only time I see police officers when I'm doing gig work in the city is when they are operating the lights to change the lights from like green to red because there's, an outage or something. But beyond that, I don't see them too often. Here, I have to be more careful because of speeding tickets. Not that I'm a speed demon, but I find that when you're in the suburban area, they love to be able to ticket your ass for anything. Rather, you're doing a U-turn when you're allowed and they're going to say that you're not able to, or let's say you're going 10 kilometers more than the speed limit, etc., etc. But I do see a lot more of them here. So again, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. If I have something to offer, I bring it forward. But I'm not going to lie and say, oh, I do this magic thing when it comes to delivering in the city of Montreal or parking the car, being able to do my gig work, because I simply don't. But hopefully these little small tips do help you out. Again, I use Waze when it comes to my navigation simply because of construction. I use my hazard lights in the event that there's no parking and I got to do a side sweep parking. And then the last one is you got to blend in. That's all you can do. When you start doing that, you start to get a little bit more used to it. The anticipation and the anxiety does taper off when it comes to doing food deliveries in the city. So I hope this helped you. Just a very quick video about that. And I will catch you lovelies in the next video.